So good morning. Good to see you. Hey guys, so many lovely faces here, old faces. Randall has been a new fixture around here, I think, a few times now, and lovely to see you. Sekishi, you have a beard more like mine. Look, Randall, man, you got the. I always love a man with a good beard. So good to see all of you, and if you've been here before, you know what to do, and if it's your first time, just follow along. All right? Everybody give me a thumbs up. Very good. All right. Little Randall, man, you got the. I always love a man with a good beard. No talking. All of you, and if you've been here before, you know what to do, and if it's your first time, just follow along. All right? Everybody give me a thumbs up. Very good. All right. Very strange. Little Randall, man, you got the. I always love a man with a good beard. No talking. All of you, and before, you know what to do, and if it's your first time, just follow along. All right? Everybody give me a thumbs up. Very good. All right. Little Randall, man, you got the. I always love a man with a good beard. No talking. All of you, and before, you know what to do, and if it's your first time, just follow along. All right? Everybody give me a thumbs up. Very good. All right. Little Randall, man, you got the. I always love a man with a good beard. No talking. All of you, and before, you know what to do, and if it's your first time, just follow along. All right? Everybody give me a thumbs up. Very good. All right. Just follow along. Right?
To the perfection of great wisdom, of all Bodhisattva, awaken one of compassion in Prajna Paramita, the deep practice of perfect wisdom, Yoshi, the conditions, it was free of suffering. Oh, Shari Putra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness, no other than form is precisely emptiness, emptiness, precisely form, sensations, perceptions, formations, and consciousness are also like this. Oh, Shari Putra, all things are expressions of emptiness, not born, not destroyed, not stained, not cured, neither waxing nor waning. Thus emptiness is not form, not sensation, nor perception, not formation, nor consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, no object of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of consciousness, no ignorance, no into ignorance, no old age and death, no cessation of old age and death, no suffering, nor cause or end to suffering, no path, no wisdom, and no gain. No gain, thus only sattvas live this prajna paramita with no hindrance of life, no hindrance, therefore no beyond all illusion. Nirvana is already here, all past, present, and future Buddhists live this prajna paramita and realize supreme and complete enlightenment. Therefore know that prajna paramita is the sacred mantra, the luminous mantra, the supreme mantra, leading down mantra, by which all suffering is fixed. This is no other than truth. Therefore set forth the prajna paramita mantra. Set forth this mantra in growth. The identity of relative and absolutes. The mind of the great sage of India is conveyed West Indies, while human faculties are both wise or dull. In the way there are no northern or southern ancestors, the subtle source shines clear in the light, the branching streams flow in the dark. To be attached to things is primordial illusions. To encounter the absolute is not yet enlightenment. All spheres, every season of beauty, interrelated they shine alone. Interacting with the merge, yet keeping their places and expressions of their own. Sights differ primarily in shape and character, and sounds from soothing tones. The darkness Water is wet, wind moves, and the earth is dense. Eye and form, ear and sound, nose and smell, tongue and taste, the sweet and sour. Each independent of the other, like leaves that come from the same root. And the leaves and root must go back to the source, and they have their own uses. Light is also darkness, but do not think of it as darkness. Darkness is light, do not see it as light. Light and darkness are not one, not two, like the foot before and the foot behind and walking. Each has its own being, which is not different from its base and function. The relative fits the absolute as a box in its lid. The absolute meets the relative like two arrows pointed at touch in midair. Hearing this, simply perceive what is. Make no criterion. If you do not see the way, you do not see it even as you walk upon it. Walking forward in the way, draw no near, progress no farther. One who fails to see this truth is mounted and renders away. Listen, those who would perceive this subtle matter, and fill your time by night and day. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, reality existing right here now. In reciting the heart to the perfection of Great Wisdom Sutra and the identity of relative and absolute, we dedicate our sincere efforts to Shakyamuni Buddha, Honored One, the historical Buddha and teacher, and to those ancestral teachers, Hey Dogen, Honored One, Soji Keizan, Honored One, all successive Honored Ones, up until Renpo Miwa, Honored One, Udo Wafu, Honored One, and to all other Honored Ones throughout history, male and female Honored Ones, whose names have been forgotten or left unsaid. We also dedicate these efforts to the three treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, to all awakened one and teachers in all places and times. We especially sing tranquility and well-being for all creatures now suffering or ill in health. May they be serene for all their ills. May their lives be at peace, and wisdom pervade the darkness of ignorance. We dedicate our hopes and aspirations to all victims of war and violence and natural events, to the injured and to all families touched by these tragedies, to the healing of hatred in all countries and among all peoples, to the wisdom and compassion of our world leaders, all the way to the peace of the world and the harmony of all beings. Thus, let the harmful effects of words, thoughts, and actions be dispelled, and compassion bloom in perpetual spring. May we all realize and live the enlightened way to get all
Let me mention we're getting a very beautiful but very repetitive feedback here. Is everyone hearing okay? Give me a wave if you're hearing okay. No? Are you hearing the feedback? You're hearing okay. I think, Shugan, if you turn your microphone off, it'll solve the problem. Okay, Zazen. Can't hit? We'd like some tea. We have tea. Anytime. Zazen? Make your slippers nice. Straighten your slippers. Oh, we will have a long kinhin. will now have a little talk with Zazen. 今ちょっと話や there's a little talk now, so 楽なところに好きなところに座って please sit wherever you wish, have some tea. You can sit zazen during the talk or just relax. Just listen. You can take a nap, go to sleep. You can get angry and leave. I don't care. Okay? But be comfortable. Okay? There's some tea. Oh, and here's today's talk. Yeah. 日本語だけど、日本語でもちょっと分かりにくいかな。You know, I was saying that in India, they dress, you know, because of the climate, it's so hot and muggy that they dress, you know, with their shoulder bare. And this kind of dressing is, you know, from North Asia, from China, where it was colder. And but on a day like today, I wish I could dress like the Indians. It's really hot. This is actually the summer clothing. It's you can see it's see-through. But boy, is it hot. I wish I could go bare-chested like those guys in India. Oh, 1 second. Could you close this door halfway? Just a little. I'll tell you what. This slides over. A little more. Right there. Good. Okay. Can we have the verse to open the sutra?
The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered, yet rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this. May we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning. The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered, yet rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this. May we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning. The Dharma, incomparably profound and infinitely subtle, is always encountered yet rarely perceived. Now we see, hear, receive, and maintain this. May we all realize the Tathagata's true meaning.
Well, welcome again, everyone. You know, one thing about Buddhism is, since the beginning, the sutras are filled with ranks and categories, analysis. We have the 10 this, the 15 that. In traditional Buddhist philosophy, they spoke of different kinds of practitioners. The 3 personality types that are the subject of today's talk is a traditional category of Tendai Buddhism. But you know, something about Zen folks is we always turn those categories and rankings on their heads. Up is down, the middle is all around. And we tend to see all of life like that. Now, some people have looked at what we're going to read today and said that Keizan was speaking about 3 different types of Zen practice. But I have reason to believe, and I'm going to offer you some evidence, that it's a little more of a upside down and all around dance than just that. One reason is, as I said, that the Zen folks like Dogen, who, by the way, was Master Keizan's great Dharma grandpa. I'll talk about who Keizan was in a second. Master Dogen would say things like the future flows into the past. Shorai, kako ni naru. Chuo, zentai desu.
The middle is all around. The future flows into the past. We'll see there's even a section in today's talk where the beginner and the expert are all the same, but only the expert may be able to see it. The beginner sees differently and sees in the way that there's an expertise to gain. But when he becomes the expert, he realizes that there was nothing to gain all along. Up is down, beginning is end, middle is all around. It's a little like the globe. You know, we have a globe and North America and Europe are on the top. Hi, Joyo. Good to see you. And Australia is on the bottom, but that's kind of for political reasons. Africa, Brazil are in the middle. But in space, where is the top of the Earth? Where is the bottom? Why isn't Australia? Right, Bryson? Why isn't Australia on the top and Canada on the bottom? Sorry, Shingden. Why isn't, if you put it sideways, Brazil and Africa, why aren't they on the top? Well, today's talk is kind of like that. He's not talking that there's an advanced practitioner and a lesser practitioner. I think it's more a matter of sometimes one is on the top and the other is on the top. And really they flow into each other like the whole turning globe. Maybe all of the universe is like this, just one thing flowing into another. I was going to say that it was just like a big circle, but today we had a wonderful example by accident. I don't know if you guys could hear, but the Heart Sutra at the beginning here, we had some kind of amazing feedback. Did you guys hear that, or was it just here? Suddenly, Shugen is chanting, and then it's Shugen chanting into Shugen. The middle of the chant is repeating, and the end of the chant is coming back, and there are bells ringing, and there are drums, and there are drums within drums and bells, and I'm just trying to find where is the real Shugen. It was like being in a house of mirrors made of sound. And I could kind of hear the Shugen in the middle. Shugen's coming and Shugen's going. One is flowing into the other. Well, I think today's talk is kind of like this. There's no up and middle and down, but it's really all these flowing into the other. Where ga shita ni naru, shita wa chuo ni naru. ZAZENKAI wa ne nagari desu. Mr. K is here, so I'm trying to pardon my bad Japanese. But this written by Keizan is hard even for Japanese to understand in the modern day because it's written in 13th century Japanese. And who was Keizan? He is the co-originator of Sotoshu in Japan. So when you see, I'll post this later, you see some pictures, you see Dogen sitting on one side of the Buddha and Keizan on the other side of the Buddha. And they're supposed to be co-equal. But really, Keizan was the fourth generation. He was Dogen's successor. So why is he the co-founder? It's politics in the Sotoshu. There was Eiheiji, which was Dogen's temple. There was Sojiji, which was Keizan's temple. And Keizan was kind of the better, how to say, popularizer of Sotoshu. So Sojiji actually became more powerful and had more influence than Eiheiji. And at a certain point, they became very competitive. And that went on for centuries. Sometimes they didn't even speak to each other. You think that all these Zen people would be beyond politics. But actually, like anything, sometimes these two temples would compete. And finally they reached a compromise and they said Keizan and Dogen will be co-equal. I happen to be the one that feels that, well, Keizan's a wonderful teacher. He's just one of the long line of successors. But that, again, does not mean he's up or down. We're going to announce Jukai in a few days. And when you take Jukai, you receive the blood lineage chart. It shows the lineage from the Buddha through India, China, Japan, America, or Europe, down to you. But then the line flows back to Buddha. Ketsumiyaku wa ne, Otoke kara Dogen eno Zenji kedo Otoki modoru. But really, it's a curving line where the top flows into the bottom. It returns to the source. It flows back to you. You flow into other ancestors. Where is the top? Where is the bottom? Where is the middle? All of life is like this. Where is the top of life? Jinsei no ue, jinsei no shita, doko desu ka? Where is the bottom of life? Where is the top of the universe or the bottom? One flows into the other. And this is the image for today. So we're going to start reading, and first, I think Keizan is making a little fun of this traditional doctrine of 3 personality types. They're all on the top. The person who Zazen is of the most profound type has no interest in questions such as how the Buddhas appeared in this present world. Such a one doesn't speculate about the truths which cannot even be transmitted by the Buddhas and ancestors. She doesn't doctrinalize about all things being the expression of the self because she is beyond enlightenment and delusion. Perhaps this is the final, most realized part of practice. It almost seems like Zazen, seated Zazen, is no longer necessary. You're just out in life. Zazen mo hichou nai. Jinsei wa zentai Zazen. And there's no reason to philosophize. How many angels on the head of a pin? If an elephant climbs trees, is it a monkey? These are questions that, if we ask the question, they're just silly. The asking of the question makes the problem. So many Zen questions are resolved when we just drop the question. Where did the Buddha come from? Where does the Buddha go? Even the Buddha cannot express that. If you're on a mountain, on a beautiful day and you're hiking, you and the mountain are one. You're walking up the mountain, but it feels like the mountain is also walking up you. All the scenery and all your heart. Walking, walking, walking. This is our practice. This is our life. At that point, do you start to ask questions like, where did this mountain come from? Why are there mountains? Is this mountain made of volcano, or is this made of some other tectonic effect? Very interesting questions to ask sometimes. But at a certain point in practice, we just walk the mountain and the mountain just walks us. There's a time to drop all the philosophizing, all the arguing. Now, don't get me wrong, as in all things, there's also a time to study a little bit of Buddhist philosophy. There are doctrines we have, such as non-self, such as emptiness. And it's important to understand. ちょっとだけ仏教の勉強が必要です。座禅だけなら、形がない。方向がない。So, if you just sit Zazen without a little Buddhist study of the history of the doctrines, it kind of is formless. They used to say that the old Zen masters would burn the books, but only after they'd read them. You would understand Buddhist philosophy, but don't become a prisoner. If you want to get to the mountain, yes, you need to look at a map to find the trail sometimes. You need to check the weather. Yes, of course, there are things, a little bit of study. But at a point, when your practice is free, you don't need the books. You don't need the compass. You don't have to ask where the mountain comes from. You're free. This is something of what is being discussed here. She is even beyond enlightenment and delusion. Of course, when we practice, at the beginning we're deluded, we're filled with thoughts of anger, greed. 最初はね、煩悩でいっぱいです。欲しいもの、腹が立つこと。We see the world in a dividing fashion. Me versus you, America versus Russia, Earth versus the Martians, whatever. We're always seeing the world divided. Me versus the table my knee bumped into this morning. At a certain point in this practice, even enlightenment is so non-dualistic that this world of separate things is not separate anymore. The walker and the mountain and the trees and the wind are not two. Yama to, yama aruiteru ningen to, ki to kuki, sora, futatsu janai. Everything is so whole that there's not even delusion and enlightenment. That's how whole it is. Even when distinctions appear, nothing obstructs him. Since his view never falls into dualistic angles, nothing obstructs him, even when distinctions appear. There will still be tables to walk into. There will still be Russia and America. There will still be you and me. But even so, there's no obstruction. Jama ni naru mono wa nai desu. Kedo mada jama ni naru mono aru. There are things that bother us. There's you and there's me. But nothing obstructs him, even when distinctions appear. She just eats when she is hungry. He just sleeps when he is tired. I would carry this over into other things in life to make it. When you're married, just be married. When you get divorced, just be divorced. When you're healthy, just be healthy. When you're sick, just be sick. When it's a cold day, just be cold. When it's a hot day, just be hot. When you are at work, be at work. And when you're playing with your kids, just be playing with your kids. We had a discussion in the Sangha this week about the things we should be doing while we're doing something else. I would say it's still hot. But even when distinctions appear, nothing obstructs it. Okay? So it seems like Zazen is not necessary now, right? Maybe it's not quite so simple. Because when we go to the medium, which is the middle, which is all things, what do we find? The person who Zazen is of a medium type abandons everything and cuts all ties. In the forum we had a discussion, when is it right to have intensive Zazen? Going to a monastery, practicing from morning till night. And when is it okay to sit Zazen maybe a little lighter in daily life with another perspective? Yeah? 修行、厳しい時の、それがいい時ある。修行はね、人生の全部になる時、それはいい時になる。ね、もっと毎日ちょっとだけの座禅、いいですか？それも全部になる。So now they're talking about maybe a little more intensive kind of practice. The person whose zazen is of a medium type abandons everything and cuts all ties. Maybe he leaves his family, goes to a monastery. Throughout the day, it says she, but those days it was all he, but she. In truth, that's a correction that is very modern. But there were women practitioners even back in the day, and monasteries for women since the Buddhist time. So, and in the Japanese, there's actually, I'm getting off into grammar now, but in the Japanese, there's actually no he or she. So this is actually correct. He and she. Kazan is speaking about he and she without distinction. There's no sexism here. Throughout the day, she is never idle. And so every moment of life, every breath is practice of the Dharma. The bell rings at 4 a.m. You wash your face. This is practice. You go to the toilet. You chant. This is practice. When you eat orioki, practice. You work in the field in hatake. Practice. Practice, practice, practice. It's good. Every breath is practice of the Dharma. Or else, as an alternative, he might concentrate on a koan, eyes fixed, his view in one place, such as the tip of the nose. Kazan here is talking about the distinction that existed that time too. Some people would practice koan zazen. We're focusing on a koan to get satori, and they would say, keep your expression, your phrase like mu, always with you. Mu, mu, mu. Wake up, mu. In the middle of the day, mu. At the end of the day, mu. Some people say that this means that it's evidence that Kazan was a koan practitioner. Probably not. Probably not. He was speaking of, in those days too, the Zen world was very mixed. But there are other sections where, other writings by Kazan where he's recommending the practice very much of our shikantaza. And he says if you're going to focus on a koan, you should do it, for example, only when you're tired. When you're tired, you can do certain things to wake up. And he said one thing is for a while you may focus on a koan. So it does not seem that Kazan himself was a koan practitioner. Does it matter? No, because they're two different roads to the same thing. And here there are koan practitioners who morning to night, everything is mu, everything is their practice. There's a time for that too if you're doing that kind of practice. Considerations of life and death, going and coming, are not seen on her face. Throw them away. All thought, all distinctions, out. The mind of discrimination can never see into the deepest truth of Buddha nature. There is a reality to be revealed through our practice without the slightest distinction. All divisions, all separations are done away. There is no this, there is no that, there is no birth, there is no death. There's just mu. There are times to practice in this way. An interesting thing about the grammar, while not thinking dualistically, he is not unenlightened. Some of the translations say he is enlightened. But if you actually look at the grammar, and some of the other translations say he is not unenlightened. Why? If you just stay there in the world beyond all distinctions, beyond all separations, we say in Buddhism that's only 80%. In Zen, you have to come back to the world of distinctions with no distinctions, obstructions with no destructions, the delusion and the enlightenment as not to. Then we speak of enlightenment. Just to be in the world beyond all separation, beyond all two, where everything is no life, no death. That's not there yet. When you come back to the world of life and death and coming and going, and yet, in the midst of life and death and coming and going, there is no life and death and coming and going, then maybe you're getting someplace. From the far past up to right now, wisdom is always brilliant, clear, shining. The whole universe throughout the 10 directions is illuminated suddenly from her brow. All things are seen in detail within her body. The walking body on the mountain, the walking, Buddha, life, trees and birds, the body, the mind. no separation, not in the least. There are times in our practice we experience this. There are times of such deep intensity. There are these times. Does that mean that that is the best practice? Well, here it's in the middle. But sometimes it's the top. Sometimes it's the bottom. One thing flows into another. How about the so-called third type of practice, which is just ordinary zazen? In our practice, again, remember, ordinary and extraordinary are not two. Ordinary mind and the Buddha's mind are not two. So ordinary zazen and the Buddha's zazen are not two. What is this ordinary zazen? The person whose zazen is just ordinary views all things from all sides and frees herself from good and bad condition, from the karma of good and evil. When we sit, we are somehow sitting beyond thoughts of this is good, this is bad, even in this world of good and bad. We don't judge. Handan shinai. Kore ga ii, kore ga warui. Shitete kudasai. Kedo, sore demo jinsei ni ii koto to warui koto mo aru. Even then, there's good and evil in this world, good and bad things, hot and cold, life and death. But somehow when we sit zazen, the mind naturally expresses the true nature of all the Buddhas, because Buddha stands right where your own feet are. Thus, wrong action does not arise. The hands are held in reality mudra. That is this, as we sit in zazen, that expresses all reality. Again, a circle. Where does the circle begin? Where does it end? It all flows one into the other. And we do not hold on to any scriptures. The mouth is tightly closed as if the lips were sealed, and no word of doctrine is spoken while we are sitting. The eyes are neither wide open nor shut. We neither chase after the world nor run away. Thus our eyes are neither open nor shut. Nothing is ever seen from the point of view of fragmentation, and good and evil words are left unheard. The nose doesn't choose one smell as good, another as bad. We sit beyond good and bad. Even today, trucks passing, birds chirping, as I always say, when the birds are singing, that's the sound of the birds singing. When the truck is passing noisily and disturbing our zazen, that's the sound of the truck singing. Ski kirai arimasen. The body is not propped up. The body relies upon nothing whatsoever. I think this is an image of just the balance of the body, whole, supporting and supported, rising from the ground. And we could say it's relying on the ground to hold it, but really, as we sit zazen, we're not supported by anything but zazen itself. Since delusion does not disturb the mind, neither sorrow nor glee appear. Sorrow and joy both drop away. There are happy times in life. There are sad times in life. And somehow as we drop that away in zazen, I like to say there's a joy that manifests, that holds all human sorrow and joy. It's a kind of Buddha smile as the tear rolls down your cheek. Just like a wooden carving of the Buddha, both the substance and the form are true. Worldly thoughts might arise, but they do not disturb, because the mind is a bright mirror with no chase of shadows. You see, this is my other reason for believing that Kazan is not criticizing here. There's nothing in these words that's saying that this is a lesser type. He's saying this way is magnificent, and this middle way is wonderful, and this third way is fantastic. There's only superlative language here all through. So he's not saying that this lesser way is lesser. This is also amazing. Worldly thoughts might arise. Thoughts come in our Zazen. But they do not disturb because the mind is a bright mirror with no trace of shadows. If you're not clear on what that mirror reference, go back, I think, 2 talks back. 2 ZAZENKAI 2 months ago, which was all about the mirror. The mirror, whatever you put in front of it, ugly thing, no judgment. It welcomes it. Beautiful face. No chasing after it. A picture of life, a picture of death, a picture of anything. All is held in the mirror. When we sit, our life becomes this mirror. And the mirror is not dull. The mirror is clear, boundless, shining, welcoming all. It's not a passive thing. It's all embracing. Kazan is not saying this is a lesser form of Zazen. This is also Zazen. Everything he's describing is Zazen. So then we come to the end where he focuses a bit on the precepts. You know, the monks in India take 237 precepts. I have to check that number. They have precepts about not to sleep on a certain kind of bed. They have precepts about how not to be in the same room alone with a woman. They have precepts about when to eat, what to drink, what not to drink. Precepts on precepts. Probably because in those days, every time a monk broke a rule, they made a new rule. In the Bodhisattva Zen tradition in Japan, we've kind of reduced this to 16 precepts. We'll study this during Jukai, but it wasn't reduced. We like to say those precepts also hold everything. Just kind of a more, encompassing way of viewing the precepts. So all of it is in Zazen, because when you're sitting Zazen, a moment of Zazen, all the precepts are realized. There's no killing. There's no stealing. There's no lust or excess need. Sitting in the wholeness and completion of Zazen, there's no violence. All precepts are realized. Not one precept is broken. That's Kazan's point here. The precepts arise naturally from Zazen, whether they are 5, 8, the great Bodhisattva precepts, the monastic precepts, the 3,000 rules of deportment, the 80,000 teachings, or the supreme dharma of the Buddhas and awakened ancestors. No practice, no teaching, no precept, nothing. No practice whatsoever can be measured against Zazen. All these arise from Zazen limitlessly. Should only one merit be gained from the practice of Zazen, it is vaster than the construction of 100, 1,000, a limitless numbers of temples and monasteries. Practice just sitting ceaselessly. Just do Zazen forever without ceasing. Doing so, we are liberated from birth and death and realize our own hidden Buddha nature, hidden, but always right in front of our face. In perfect ease, go, stay, sit, and lie down. We sit Zazen, but then we get up, and sometimes when we're sick, we have to lie down. That's Zazen. When we're working, we're moving. That's Zazen. When we're walking up the mountain, Zazen. The 4 activities of going, staying, sitting, and lying are nothing but natural and unexcelled functions. Seeing, hearing, understanding, and knowing are all the natural display of the true nature, are all the light of original nature, natural manifestations of true self. From the first to last, mind is mind. There is no choice between the beginning mind and the ripened mind. Dogen would say, beginner's mind is the Buddha's mind. There's no place to go, nothing to attain. The expert's mind is all the Buddha's mind. The mind that has been practicing for 30 years, 50 years, many lifetimes perhaps, the expert's mind, all the Buddha's mind, no place to go, nothing to attain. But maybe the expert, because of all those years of practice, realizes that fact a little better than the beginner. The beginner doesn't realize he's Buddha all along. He needs to become a bit more expert to realize that he was the Buddha all along, even as a beginner. That's the expert. But, anyway, there is no choice between the beginning mind and the ripened mind. Beyond any arguments about knowledge and ignorance, just do Zazen with all of you, with all of who and what you are. Never stray from it. Never lose it. How can you stray from it? How can you lose it? You only lose it when you think you lose it. You only stray from it when your mind gets confused. But in fact, when your mind is clear, you realize it was never possible to stray from it at all. Kind of like being in a fog and wondering, where is New York City? And then the fog clears and you realize, oh, I was standing in New York City right here in Times Square all along. When you're confused and you can't see it, you think you're lost. But you were never lost. You were always right there. So it is with our Zazen. And so the circle comes full. The end is in fact the beginning. If you practice this way, if you become that expert, perhaps you'll realize this. Going back to number 1. Since his views never fall into dualistic angles, nothing obstructs him, even when distinctions appear. She just eats when she is hungry. He just sleeps when he is tired. こういうプラクティスすれば最初から戻る。お腹が空いている時に食べなさい。眠くなる時は寝なさい。上と下、middle, round and round, top, bottom, middle, round and round, round and round. Zen teachers like to do this. I'm moving my hand in a big circle in the air for those on the podcast. Any questions? Please put your microphone on, and if you raise your hand if you have a question. I hope we have at least one, just because I like to play with the technology and answer questions from the other side of the world. Come on, who's got a question? Oh, Shugen, I saw you raise your hand. I think you were just brushing your shoulder, but I just volunteered you. Oh, wait. Did you have a question? Was my talk so good that either everyone is just astounded and left speechless, or basically I've answered all your questions? Really, no questions? Going once? We're going to cut this part out of the podcast, by the way. No questions. Good. Sekshi, note to you. Cut this part out of podcast. Questions going twice.
I have a question.
Oh, Mr. K has a question.
Yes.
Yes.
Master Dogen recommended to okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Master Dogen said that recommended about our practice. Important thing is body and mind, and in the body and mind, and very important thing is body, yeah, not mind, and hard practice and enlightenment. So Dogen recommended to do hard practice, and also said Dogen express or contents. Dogen said that very important to express just at same mm, word by Sawaki Roshi. Sawaki Roshi said that just sit in your body. So I feel that in this three personality types, and in the such thing is Dogen and Sawaki Roshi said very important thing is medium type. So very hard practice is recommended.
Yes, recommended.
So I think so because difficult to be in the same in life, and I think that bad things and good things something happen such like our ordinary life is not. I don't think that kind of good thing and the bad thing is good thing. I think, but I think that a very hard practice is very treasury for us. I think, this is my opinion. How do you think about it?
Very hard practice is necessary. Master Dogen spoke of practice with the body. Master Dogen also spoke of practice with mind. Master Dogen spoke of practice with body-mind. Master Dogen spoke of practice beyond body-mind. I'll find you somewhere in the Shobo Genzo, he said that. There's a physical aspect to our practice. When we're sitting, it's body and mind, not two. And when we're working, Isamu, or walking up the mountain, it's a physical practice. It's a practice of the body. There's a time if you're doing Zen ceremony, an intricate ceremony, it's like a great dance, you lose yourself, the body loses itself. There's a time to practice with the body and heart. Master Dogen was also a poet, philosopher. He was a man of words. He was very intellectual, intelligent. He liked poetry. Certainly there's an intellectual aspect to this too. These are words I'm reading here. This is not the body. This is a man's thoughts. When we sit, body and mind not two. And then at a certain time in this practice, it's all one beyond one. Ichi sukoeru ichi. Ichi ga ichi o koeru. There's a time for hard practice with the body. Yes, you find this something in the... Throw your body into it, and you throw yourself into it, as the expression goes, and you find yourself. Throw yourself into the ceremony. Throw yourself into the hard practice, into the work in the fields, and you find yourself. But also, you can find yourself, like Master Dogen, somehow by carrying this like a poem in your heart. So there's Zazen of the body, there's Zazen of the mind, there's Zazen of body-mind, there's Zazen beyond body and mind. That's my point. Anything else? Okay, Shugen, would you close the sutra?
May the merits of these teachings penetrate into each thing in all places, so that we and every sentient being together may realize the Buddha way. All Buddhas throughout space and time all bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, maha prajna paramita.
Okay, let's 5 minutes zazen. Short zazen is good. Long zazen is good. Now we're going to sit 5 minutes zazen, and it's going to hold all time. You can stand too if you'd like to walk kinhin. That's fine too. Kinhin is fine too. Zazen. Kochinen. Rock. Sit where you were. Achi ni suwatte. Rock ni natte. Achi kara. Don't have to twist your legs. Just sit. 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 We will have a short 5-minute kinhin. Zazen? Can't hit?
will now recite the metaverses, followed by Zazen. Please. What do you want?
I know.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. So, people ask me about why we chant the metaverse. This week, a friend of mine, I won't say it's a he or she, got a little trouble with the law, and he or she is in jail. So I went to visit, or I'm going to go visit, I should say, my friend, and try to offer what comfort I can in person. But even now, in my heart, I wish this person peace, and I'll be chanting for this friend of mine. And you may have heard earlier in Zazen, suddenly an ambulance passed here. And I thought, oh, is one of my neighbors sick? Or someone maybe in the next, we live in a village here, like a village, next village. Don't know where it came from, don't know who's in the ambulance, but I'll chant for that person. It's all we can do. But I think, I say, if we're angry, it certainly spreads waves around us, doesn't it? So when we have peace in our hearts, I think it has effects going around. Certainly makes society and our lives a lot more peaceful when we have peace in our hearts, yes? You can sit if you want to. We begin with ourselves, someone we love, a friend, just a stranger, some difficult person, someone in the news maybe who's a prisoner of violence or anger or other addiction, something, greed, division. And then we chant for all sentient beings everywhere. Let's begin with ourselves. May I be free of suffering. May I feel safe and still. May I be free of enmity. May I be loving, grateful, and kind. May I be healthy and at ease in all my ills. May I be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Notice it says healthy and at ease in all our ills, because, of course, we hope for health, but sometimes we all get sick, and then let's just be peaceful about it. And when you're sick, just be sick. When you're hungry, just be hungry. When you're thirsty, just drink. When you're tired, just sleep. When you're sick, just go, ah. All right, now we will chant for someone we love. Okay? May he be free of suffering. May he feel safe and still. May he be free of enmity. May he be loving, grateful, and kind. May he be healthy and at ease in all his ills. May he be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Okay, now let's chant for a friend, right? Tomodachi. May he be free of suffering.
May he feel safe and still. May he be free of enmity. May he be loving, grateful, and kind. May he be healthy and at ease in all his ills. May he be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Okay. Now we'll chant for a stranger, almost a stranger. I'm going to chant for the whoever was in that ambulance and people who are in ambulances everywhere. May she be free of suffering. May she feel safe and still. May she be free of enmity. May she be loving, grateful, and kind. May she be healthy and at ease in all her ills. May she be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Okay, I'm going to now chant for someone difficult, maybe someone who's really suffering with violence, either someone you know or someone in the news. Let me think. There was a fellow in a movie theater again, a couple of those fellows who committed violence on strangers. Must be such pain in their hearts to do that. May he be free of suffering. May he feel safe and still. May he be free of enmity. May he be loving, graceful, and kind. May he be sick and at ease in all his ills. May he be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Okay, now we'll chant for all sentient beings everywhere. May we be free of suffering. May we feel safe and still. May we be free of enmity. May we be loving, grateful, and kind. May we be healthy and at ease in all our ills. May we be at peace, embracing all conditions of life. Okay, let's see, what are we going to do now? Let me think. I know. Zazen! We'll sit a few more minutes. Final Zazen. You can sit. We will now recite the verse of atonement and the 4 vows. Mr. K, may you be healthy and at ease in all your ills. You okay? Thank you. Thank you.
All harmful words, thoughts, and acts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, to save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way unattainable.
That dates me. Remember that's everybody do the bump.
All right. Who's out there, guys?
Everyone.
Going in? Michael, good to see you.
Hi, everyone.
Mishin, good to see you. Hi, Texas.
Hi, everyone.
Ian, I still got to send you your silly photos. Dosho, hi. Oh, no, I sent them to you. Ian? Yeah, I did. And
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
see you. All right. Everybody, stay cool. All right?
Cool.
See you later. See you around the home front. Bye.